Good evening from Marie at messymcreations, coming to you on Wednesday the 17th of February already. Can you believe it? I hope this finds you safe and well. Hopefully this evening, if you do say hi, I will see your comments. Yesterday evening, unfortunately, I couldn't see any comments, which was a bit of a shame. But yeah, do shout if you are joining me. Tonight we are focusing on dragonflies. Just realised I forgot my glasses, so hopefully we'll cope. This is a set from the mini catalogue, and it is on page 27. Comes with a lovely punch. You've got inspiration within the catalogue, and on the previous page in the catalogue, this item 3 dandy lazy cut paper, this catalogue does not do it justice. I got it out over the weekend and wow, so I thought I would show you that as well. I have taken mine apart, but I can show you that. So that is what we are focusing on today. And we are sticking with the Regals inks that we've been focusing on this week. So I'm using Garden Green for one card as a primary colour, and my favourite Blackberry Bliss for the other, because I couldn't possibly use Regals without bringing in Blackberry Bliss. But what I thought I'd also show you is I was on a craft day on Saturday, and this is a couple of cards that I part of a swap group that have just come today, and they happen to use the dragonflies. It's going to be one of those evenings, dandelions and dragonflies. So this uses the dragonflies. So you have the dragonfly there, which is embossed in gold. Fantastic fold of that card. But it also shows this flower design there. You've got a few embellishments. So I just thought that was absolutely fantastic. So that is from Leslie Thornley Gray. Hi Ali, I'm good. I hope you're well. I'm glad I can see some comments tonight, because that was very sad yesterday. So that's one swap that came, and then the other person that used the same pack set was Lisa Harris. So this one, I'll just take it out of the pack because I find possibly it looks a little bit shiny if I leave it in the cellophane. So Lisa created this, a standard fold, but this is embossed, this back paper, and then she's used, I would assume, a blending brush or a sponge to just create that colour on that part of the card. And then this is that same flower with a bit of additional colouring, and then cut out, and then one of the dragonflies. By the end of this evening, I will be able to call that a dragonfly without any issues. So I just thought there were two great cards with that stamp set, and I thought as I had them, I would share them with you. Pop them back in. So this is why I love swap groups, because you get that inspiration, and it's great then to kind of case that so you can copy it and make it your own. So hi Jeanette, hope you are well. So we will start with, I think we'll start with the Garden Green, because Blackberry Bliss is my favourite, so I'm going to save that until later. Oh, actually what I'll quickly do is these laser papers. Do you know what I might grab? What's going to really show these up? Black card. The detail in these little dragonflies is brilliant. You get some leaves, so you get two sheets, and you get a variety of these. So you get the little, what are those little flower heads? Some of the little flying. You get these circles, which the circle you can take out, or you could just leave that in place, and that has those flowers round the edge. But seriously, the catalogue does these no justice whatsoever. You get a label like that for putting a sentiment on. These I've left within because they're a little bit more delicate. So there's a couple of sort of flower heads there and additional leaves. And then you get these backgrounds. Now, these could be inked in with any colour ink that you desire. So you get that pattern, that sort of leaf. You get this lovely one, that needs to be on the black, with the dragonflies across it. Which, no, it's not going to work with either I've got tonight. You get this lovely one. Let's just move those fantastic dragonflies with those flower heads. And then this one is a real, just a simple background. So that's the Dandy laser cut papers. As I say, in the catalogue, completely lost on me on page 25. And it wasn't until I actually opened the packet that I realised how fantastic they are. So I am going to use one of those this evening and one of these little half flying ones for sure. And I might see what happens as to whether I use any of the others. But this I just think is fantastic. Just such an easy way to create cards. Anyway, let's move those to one side and save those. I'm going to move those off the, I'm going to put them on the over there. When I can't find my dragonflies later, remind me they're on the black sheet to my left. If I go, I can't find them. So I saw a card from a colleague, Stacey Marsh, where she'd layered different designer series papers. So I thought I would do a similar thing. So now technically this is Mossy Meadow. So I'm going a little bit off piste and matching it because I'm playing with Regals. I'm going with Garden Green. So don't let the coordination police know that I have done that. But I think it still looks lovely. So this is part of the Dragonfly papers, as is this one. This one comes from the Regals pattern. So I've just cut the 3 pieces of designer series paper to go across in that way. And then earlier, and hopefully it's dried now, I stamped onto vellum a little dragonfly. Why am I struggling with dragonflies this evening? So because we've got the punch, it's really easy to stamp a little dragonfly. Line up your punch. I've stamped that in the Garden Green as well. Oh, hang on a minute, I'm getting all tangled up. There we go. So then, because it's vellum, you get this sort of part transparency, but it will lay over perfectly to give us a little bit of dimension, so we can fold his leaves up. What you can also do, oh, actually let's finish this card before I show you that. So all we need to do, use your preferred glue or tape, but this would work with any of our designer series paper. I'm going to make sure my card is opening the right way. So obviously I'm doing this in a portrait style. If you cut the papers differently, you could use it in a landscape style. So positioning those as you kind of see fit. I'm lining that up with that bottom corner, so this coordinates with that. I'm going to use a little glue dot on the back of my dragonfly. If you are going to stamp on vellum, make sure that you do let it dry. It takes a little bit longer for the inks to dry on vellum. So I did stamp that earlier, because if you are, that's still not quite dry. I have got a thumb that's now slightly coloured. And also what we want to do is create a bit of dimension. So I'm just slightly folding those leaves so I can just pop that on top of that dragonfly, and it just creates that little bit of dimension behind, so it adds a little bit of interest. And then this little fella, actually what you can do as well is these fit on top of there. So you can really, so we could either go with adding him on the top, or what I quite like the idea of is having a little, actually let's see how that, what we could have is that use that as for a sentiment, and then our little dragonfly, which I think I might use a sponge. What's the betting that I have? Oh, look at that. She's even got a sponge handy. I'm going to sponge that and not on that side. That's why, oh no. If you do pick up a sponge, don't use it until you've checked. Otherwise I'd have ended up with a, it's going to add a little bit of colour on top of that so he stands out a little bit better. Oh. So quickly with a sponge, but I mean you could just do anything with those. So the sentiment, I am going to use one from Approaching Perfection. There are some in the set, but what I'm wondering is how these will fit in, so we can check. That is a little, actually, do you know what, that might fit quite well. I'm going to use that one. So if things really do get better with age, you are approaching perfection. So I'm going to stick with my garden green. Now I may have already lost that other, oh no, I've put it back. I thought I'd lost that other dragonfly. So I would ask if anybody's been doing anything exciting, but you're probably in the same situation as the rest of us. You've not really been out. Have you been out? I guess the key thing is have you been out on any walks? I think you walk quite regularly, Jeanette, don't you? It's been a bit wet here today, on and off, so I haven't been minded to go out for a walk. Right, then I've just used that to add green, but I don't know which side I used. Definitely not that one. Ah, there we go, use that side. So all I'm going to do around the edge is just add a little bit with a sponge on the very edge of that label, and really what for me it just makes that pop a little bit more. So just taking the sponge all around the edges. You can see how that just pops a little bit more when we do that. Shut that up, pop a bit of tape on the back of there. Oh, you've had rain as well. I mean, it is nicer that it's warmer, but I think the rain could do one now. I think overall, I think we've had enough rain, enough cold. And then we can just position our little dragonfly. That'd be quite nice to have it. I kind of want it somewhere where it's going to... Oh, actually, let's have its little tail. Let's have it flying away like that. So again, you could put lots of little tiny bits of glue, but I'm going to use a little glue dot in that area of the body there. Yeah, I think my mum and I are planning a walk for Friday afternoon because we think we might have a window of no rain. I am a bit of a fair weather walker, I have to say. I'm not one of these that will go out at all costs. And the other thing that you can do with this dragonfly, but I'm not going to do now because it takes a while to dry, is we have this product called Shimmery Crystal Effects. And let's see, can you see? Trying to get the light on it to pick it up, that I've added those shimmery crystal effects down the body. Now it does take a while to dry, so don't put that on and then merrily put it into an envelope, but it just adds a little bit of 3D effect to the body. But I know what will happen is at the end of this, when I put the cards together, I'll have forgotten I'll have put it on, so it'll get in a pickle. So I might do it afterwards once I've finished. But yeah, you can just lift those little bits, give a bit of dimension. So there we go, there is one card. And then the other one, we're going to focus on this set of flowers with, oopsie daisy, with my Blackberry Bliss. In my efforts to be organised, I've already cut my pieces. So I'm just going to stamp the flowers on there and a sentiment on there with my Blackberry Bliss ink. Now, what I do have to remember is with my Blackberry Bliss, I have just re-inked it. So we need to be a little bit careful with the re-inking. That's fine. That we don't go crazy. So I'm just going to pop that in the centre of the tag that I've cut, and I've cut it wider than the card itself. Oh, you can tell I've re-inked. It looks very dark, so that I can make my mind up where I want it on the card. And then I'm going to ink up these flowers, which, yep, because I've got this in the Blackberry Bliss, really looking to pop that in the centre. So you could do this in a lighter colour and potentially do some inking on there, but because the Blackberry Bliss is quite dark, I don't think that's going to particularly show up. But what I am going to do is cut a couple of corners off. I'm going to do opposite corners. So my little corner cutter, do opposite corners just because I can. And then, so standard white card base, so I've cut a ½ centimetre off, so that's 10.5 by 14.9, so I've got a ½ centimetre off. This is 10 by 14.4. Then on my next layer, I've cut a full centimetre off. So we go 9 by 13.4. So it just shows more of that beautiful blackberry Bliss. There's just something about the colour that I just absolutely adore. Just the depth of it and the versatility of it. So that I'm going to pop slightly to one side so that we show that off on that side. And then I've cut, this little banner is 2 centimeters and this is 2.5, and then it's really positioning that across the card, which gives us the option to put it across to one side or the other. So I have made it considerably longer than the piece of card because I couldn't decide if we wanted it. What do you think? Central? To the right? Don't think it works to the left. I think either central or over to the right. Where's my stamp set gone? My stamp set is here because what I'm thinking is there's these little butterflies. So I'm going to experiment before I stick it down, because if I don't like it I can turn the bit of card over. But what I'm thinking is we could have some of these little butterflies just flying in that area. Yeah, I tend to think over to the right. Yeah, I think there's the butterflies. And then of course we have got this little fella that could, oh, let me butterflies flying that way. So that little fellow, does he have to fly the same way as the other ones? Actually, they're more butterflies. This is a dragonfly. He's going to fly the other way. Right, so bit of tape on here. Stick that on. Then I don't want to go too far with the tape. I don't want to tape it to anything that we don't need it taped to. So I think we'll pop that there. Try and make sure it's straight. And then once that is stuck, just need to take our scissors and cut the excess off from the back, and then from the front, hey presto, it's like magic. Oh, I've just gone from feeling a bit chilly to feeling a bit hot. And then wondering whether I do want to add any colour to my dragonfly. Or whether it should be more subtle. Let's wait for the video to catch up and see. And I've got something new to play with, so I might hop on tomorrow because I was on a card weekend on Saturday and it focused on this flowering cactus product medley, and so quite amazed at how much you get for the money in the product medley. So I might pop on and play with that, because it looks rather fun. So no colour. Yeah, leave it plain. Can't quite decide where he ought to be. There's more space on the right hand side for him, isn't there? And I also don't know why he's a him. So I just need to wait for... Oh, there's a time lag on the video, so I'll just wait. Yeah, I tend to think it fills that space better. So again, just going to use a little glue dot. It hasn't really got any solid bits. For a glue dot, but I think we'll get away with that. The little glue dot, and just have him flying off in that direction, so he's over some of that blackberry bliss so that you can see him. So there you go. So that is the Dragonfly Garden, using the dragonfly on vellum in this instance. Oh dear, there's a little baby one there. So that punches out. The other thing with the papers is, if you wanted to, you can punch out the dragonflies on the paper. And then I've also used this flower piece. This blob colours in the wings, if you were under any doubt. So there's blackberry bliss using that flower, and the little maybe they are dragonflies. Anyway, the little flying things, whatever they are. Just a nice bit of detail. And that dandy laser cut paper, the catalogue does not do it any justice. Thank you very much, Jeanette. Lovely to see you, and I hope to see you again soon. And when I was practicing, I did do that style of card in garden green with the same butterfly I'd done there, and that one I'd previously done colouring, popping that shimmery crystal effect on the body of the dragonfly. So I'm not going to do that because I'll put my finger in it right now, but yeah. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.